So we recently completed National Highways' new office in Wakefield, and the site is located in this beautiful position right next to the River Calder. There's loads of kind of natural nature walks and things, so it's got a really kind of natural feel to it. And the client asked us to design a space that not only included some of those kind of natural elements, but also integrated the brand into the space. Often when brands integrate their brand into a space, it can be a little bit too brash and a bit cold. And really, brand integration is less about getting your logo on all the walls. It's more about getting across your ethos and how you treat your staff, but also getting across your brand kind of guidelines and colour palette, but in a much softer way. You don't need to use your core brand colours on all the feature walls. You can really do it in a much softer way. So when we were looking at how we were going to integrate the brand within the interior for National Highways, we looked at their logo, and their logo is 2 tones of blue. So firstly, we found this kind of key feature fabric that brought in not only their brand colours, but also a little bit of green. And then we played on that a little bit further and found a few other feature fabrics that all sat nicely together and brought in other colours and tones into the scheme. Building upon that feature fabric, which is often a great way to start a scheme or a project, is to find something that encompasses everything you want it to encompass. It includes the brand colours, but it also is something that the client really, really likes, and that feels a little bit highwaysy. It's got the chevrons of kind of highway signs and things like that, so it really worked with the client. When you're layering upon a feature fabric, you then want to really let that feature fabric be the focal point. So then think on top of that, the colours that you can draw out of the scheme, but also how those block colours can layer up. So we leave the feature fabric to be the main kind of elements of the scheme, but we can layer up with feature block colours. And that doesn't mean you can only fit 3 more fabrics in the scheme. You can then play with textures. We've brought in leathers, we've brought in some velvets, and also some kind of linens. So there's ways that you can layer the scheme without necessarily adding a lot more feature colours into the space. So overall, when you're doing a scheme thinking about brand and working on a feature fabric base, you want to think about, firstly, your feature fabric needs to be the perfect fabric for your space, the perfect encapsulation of a brand colour, a brand ethos, and tells you a little bit about them and what they do. And then layer on top of that block colours, but that can be tonal, and also think about texture to make sure that you're making a scheme that feels rich.